This is the normal price for the base model.
3,500. Yeah.
Model. Yeah. And then you go down here and you look at the. Let's see, where's the? You go down here, you look at the engraving, and then it's another. Well, what's that say? 50 added on to that price for not having any markings on it.
Damn.
That's ridiculous, but that is still a nice 1911 regardless. Oh, hey, we're live. Welcome everyone to Hit or Miss. I'm your host, Night Strike. Thanks for showing up tonight. We've got an interesting group on the panel this evening. We might have some stragglers. I don't know. It depends on whether they actually answer the email or not. Who knows? That's Hit or Miss Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock right now. And let's go through the room, see who we have, and let's continue the conversation. All right, AWAG. You know, you should have stayed here. We could have set up a tent or a camper in the backyard. You wouldn't have had to have gone back, but
yeah.
You went back to the prison state of New Jersey.
I had to. I'm sorry.
What's wrong with you? There's
a lot wrong with me. I could write you a book.
No, people can see it just from that one video I posted a while ago.
Super speed reload of a single shot 22 long rifle.
Yeah. No. It's hashtag New Jersey Reload.
New Jersey Reload. I like it. I like it.
But yeah. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
I actually went and oddly enough, I took a Snapchat of this. I had pistol permit papers that I wanted to get done so that I can, transfer over some pistols that my dad has that he no longer wants per se. So while filling out the form, it asks you a question, and the question goes along the lines of this: are you a part of an organization that is against the government? And then it elaborates on it by saying, is it an organization that is against the Constitution of the United States? And I had to restrain myself from
saying no, I'm not the New Jersey government.
Yeah, I'm a taxpayer. Of course I'm against the government. We're all organized.
I had to stop myself from saying New Jersey state is impeding the Constitution here. So, but
it's like the pot calling the kettle black and unemployed.
Yeah. So
it's ridiculous. All right. Kingpin, you back?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's going on tonight?
Not too much. Very glad for the invite. Appreciate it.
No problem. Rich, what's going on?
Today, not much of anything. I was playing with DC Universe Online a little bit with my oldest daughter. And
is that still running?
Yep.
Yeah.
Huh.
They just did a major update.
They've done a couple major updates that in patches where they've upgraded. They've changed out textures, models for some characters.
Because I thought Sony Online Entertainment went the way of the dodo.
It's not run by Sony anymore. It's run by Daybreak Games now.
Okay.
Which was basically a subset of all those who worked on the game back with Sony that came through an agreement or something to go and roll out into a separate company.
All right. So enough about video game talk. We're not here for video game talk. We're here for gun talk and news. So, all right.
Well, if you want to talk gun talk, I was live streaming on Midnight Range's channel yesterday, the rally from Black Cat's channel, because Midnight was having technical difficulties.
Did Slim get a chance to go, by the way?
No, he didn't he wasn't going to be able to go. He had to work like 16 hours, and then it would have been a 4-hour drive for him after he got off of work. Okay. After he drove home from work, which I think he says like a half hour to get from where he works to where he lives, and then it went 4 hours from there or something like that. 3 hours, it was something like that. But he wasn't going to. There's no way he was going to be able to go. He would have been dead tired.
Shame. All right, Travis, what's going on?
Not much, man. I'm just suffering from some 1911 fever right now. I just have this sudden urge to want to go out and buy one, and I don't even know why. I think I'm going through changes now because I'm getting older, and I just have
getting
the AARP is showing up in the mail, and I don't know what's wrong with me.
He's getting the FUD virus.
What was the first
hot
handgun
flashes.
you bought, Travis?
Gen 2 Glock 20.
That's why.
That's a badass handgun. I don't care what you say.
No. That's why you're getting
Looking at a 45.
1911 envy right now or fever because people always buy the Glocks because they're easy. People think that the Glocks are all that in a bag of potato chips because let's be honest, Glock literally panders to everyone and everything. Every organization to get them to use Glocks.
It's just the classy looks of the 45.
I'm not saying Glocks are bad guns.
Yeah.
They're just not American. And the thing about a 1911 is, whether it's made by an American company or not, it's really hard to screw up a 1911. And you know what? There's just something about an American 1911, in 45 ACP. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, the big question is, do I want to go standard length or do I want to go government length? Because I'd like something maybe just a little bit shorter, just kind of for something different for once, I don't know. It's only 3/4 of an inch difference in the barrel, but...
That is a good question, and we'll get to it. But how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. Hey, I just want to thank you in advance for covering for Caliber Corner on Thursday. I appreciate you doing that.
Well, don't thank me yet until we actually get there and get over.
Well, yeah. You got the mailing list, so just let everybody know if you guys follow Caliber Corner. It will be over on Nice Strike One's channel, and I'll post a little notice about that on Thursday, just on YouTube, so everybody knows about it. And I think I've mentioned it over on gunchannels.com and all the other networks, just so you guys know. I got a work obligation I can't get out of, so I've got that going on. After that, I don't really see any other issues with Thursday evenings at all. In fact, I might be able to do a little bit more Saturday morning stuff too when school gets here, or when school gets out and summertime gets here. I might have some more free time, so maybe we can do like a Caliber Corner extra on Saturday mornings just to kind of help those people out there hitting the road, and they need something to listen to. So anyway, man, thanks for the invite, dude. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here.
No problem.
Right
and
on.
For everyone, just a reminder, since we are going to host Caliber Corner is going to be a family-friendly version. We're not going to do a lot of cursing, and if anybody does curse, I'm going to give them one chance, and then I will have to boot them.
All right, man. Appreciate that. And were you going to go along with the topic, or
we're going to go? I'm going to go with the topic you gave me.
Sounds good. I think it'd just be a lot of fun for people. We haven't had a good firearms talk in a long time.
And for anyone asking, the reason is I'm hosting it. I'm filling in for Travis, and Travis always does a family-friendly Caliber Corner. He doesn't have any of the cursing, so
we kind of do in the evenings now, but we still try to keep some basic standards. So it's
we're gonna try and keep it classy.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yep.
Right.
Keep it classy, San Diego.
But since it's hit or miss, we can be unreserved tonight because we're gonna talk about a couple different topics. But since we were on the topic of the 1911, let's get back into that, Travis. So give us the full story. What has possessed you to want a 1911?
So Matt's showing off that Sig Sauer Nightmare that he picked up, and and I had a Rock Island 1911, and I don't know what my problem was. I didn't like it. Okay, I think part of it was the grips. I didn't like the smooth grips initially. I didn't enjoy.
You realize you can replace.
Yes. I was just being stupid at the time, and I saw some other guns that I wanted. I thought, this is okay, but do I want to get into another caliber? I was trying to consolidate everything down to 9mm just for less money on ammo that I was spending overall. But then I've since gotten away from that already.
But then you bought a whole bunch of other guns and other different calibers.
I pretty much started the chain over again. Yeah, it doesn't matter at all. It doesn't make a difference. No, and then David Bowling, Kingpin, he got his sweet looking Ruger, and I really did like the Remington R1s when they came out. I thought those were really nice looking 1911s, just my opinion. So I'm back to looking at them right now, and I don't, budget wise, it's anywhere between basically probably $0 and $1,000. And here goes Tactical's having the Devil Dog Arms chat, and they've got some sweet looking 1911s.
Oh yeah.
So part of me wants to just get something entry level, maybe tinker with it and upgrade the parts, and then another part of me wants to get one that's just customized and just looks classy, man. Just looks good. Something where you look at it, you're like, that's a nice 1911. Something where you're going to get some compliments, and but it's also going to be a joy to shoot. That's also important too. I want something that's going to be reliable.
Right, and again, I know I'm not trying to rub this in. I'm just saying that, I couldn't afford the most expensive 1911
Yeah.
either because I got into guns in 14. Okay.
Yeah.
So I built a couple ARs. I got an SKS, and I hadn't gotten a handgun yet. So when I went looking for a handgun, I thought about it. What do I like? Okay. What's available? And what do I really want?
Yeah.
And I thought about it. I liked the Glock. The only version of the Glock I like is the 17, the original. That's the only one. Not with the finger grooves, just the straight 17. Because when it's just when it's just a straight, the straight grip and everything, it looked good at the time. Okay, when it first came out, and I've seen it since, and I just like the 17. And I thought about it, and I like the 17, but I don't like the price. So what else could I get? And and then eventually, and I said, you know what? I'm thinking about this wrong. What would an American get? So I got a 1911. Granted, it wasn't from an American company, from an importer, but again, it was from an importer that is based in South Carolina. American Tactical Imports is in Summerville, South Carolina, not too far away from Summerville, PSA.
Well, people can't rip on you. Anybody that's ever bought a Rock Island Armory gun is getting something that's Filipino made also. I know they're not the same factory, but they're the same kind of region, kind of same heritage, I guess you could say.
Actually, believe it or not, some of the parts made for Rock Island and ATI are made in the same factory.
Yeah, they're made in the same factory. They're both.
I don't know, dude.
There are two different factories making 1911s.
They're the same complex.
In the Philippines.
They are on the same complex.
They're in the same complex.
So it's like a Chevy versus Buick versus Pontiac kind of thing.
There's Arms Corps making a majority of Rock Island stuff.
Okay.
And then there's Shooter Arms Manufacturing making a majority of parts on contract for Rock Island and for ATI.
Okay.
Yeah, when you look at it, it's all one big complex that you got those two, and then there's somebody else there.
Yeah, those buildings are literally right next to each other in the downtown area of the city they're in.
Yeah.
So, but again, they're not bad 1911s. It's not like the Filipinos haven't had at least 100 years of using 1911s we gave them. It's not like they don't know how to use a 1911 and how to, make it work.
Yeah, I mean, the Rock Island 1911 I had was fine. I only had it for just a couple months, and then I just turned around and sold it, and probably shouldn't have. But I just, I think part of it, too, is I wanted something a little bit fancier, and that was probably part of the problem right out of the box. But
and I say that because we saved them from the Japanese in World War II, and after that, we gave them a bunch of Lend-Lease guns. And it's not like they haven't had time to reverse engineer any of that stuff.
Well, they didn't have to reverse engineer. Colt also sold them a bunch of their tooling and machining for making the 1911 as well.
Yeah, they wanted to make more.
Okay.
So it's not like they're blind to the 1911. Because remember, at one point the Philippines were part of America, and that was even before World War II. So
okay.
But anyways, it depends on what kind of 1911 you want. If you don't mind getting the bottom of the barrel one, and I don't mean like a llama, I mean like one that works like an ATI or a Rock Island, get one of those. Do what I did. Go and get all the internals that you want to replace from that are drop-in from Wilson Combat, and then you literally have a Wilson Combat 1911. It just says Rock Island or ATI on it.
Are there any parts that are going to be kind of finicky when you swap them out? Do you have to worry about recoil springs causing issues, or do you have to worry about extractors, or is there anything you really got to keep an eye on when it comes time to swap those out?
If it's drop-in parts, most of the time you're good. Okay, so if you buy any parts that are not drop-in and say require some fittings, you may have to either sand something down a bit, or you might have to trim some metal off.
Yeah,
but Travis, I know you've got it. You've got your own little Dremel type tool.
Oh so yeah. I'm okay.
It's not like you don't have the ability. Now, granted, getting them to fit is going to be a hell of a lot easier than trying to get those Croatian mags to fit in your
Oh,
AK,
definitely. Well,
okay?
those just physically won't work with my gun, so it doesn't matter. Those are basically a lost cause.
That's why they're in my gun now.
Yep. There you go.
But
Now, what about ammunition? Do you have to watch out when you're trying to run hollow points through 45s? Is that really an issue because the feed ramp angles and stuff like that? Or if I had
well, the thing is, I don't use hollow points because I'm running steel case Tula through mine all day long, and it just doesn't care.
Well, I'm thinking
It
as a
doesn't
bedside
care.
gun application, or like a self-defense. Well, obviously every gun's a self-defense weapon, but running self-defense ammo through it, yeah.
Here's what I'm going to tell you: you can run self-defense ammo through it if you want. You're not gonna notice that much difference, unless you actually shoot it at, and I hate to say this, at an actual person to notice a difference. Unless you're trying to do testing, and at that point you might want to use gel, or you might want to use one of those reactive targets in order.
I'm just saying more from a reliability standpoint, because I know magazines can be kind of a sticky subject with 1911 owners.
And thing is, I don't have any problems with magazines. I bought all GI magazines, the 7-rounders. I got two 10-round magazines, and I've got a couple 8-rounders. One of them came with the gun, and quite honestly, they run just fine. As I said, it's really hard to screw up a 1911. It's really hard. I mean, some people have been able to do it. Don't get me wrong, by making it in 9mm, but personal opinion, of course.
Now, on yours, have you ever done like a complete total disassembly, like down to the parts, and then completely reassembled the gun, or not? Like just
several occasions.
Beyond, yeah.
One of them sent me to the hospital.
Yes. Oh, I thought that was just basic field strip and cleaning you were doing when that happened.
No, that was a complete clean. I literally had that thing perfectly scrubbed, perfectly oiled. It was ready to go. And then I put the grip spring in backwards and tried to force the mainspring housing in. And then I was using force on my right hand to force the mainspring housing out. And then that part of the frame where the mainspring housing goes into, the actual frame of the gun, the receiver.
Yeah.
That part is really sharp, and I sliced my hand.
Not good, man.
So, yes, I do take it apart now, but I use literally chainmail gloves when I do that because. Yeah, no more things. But again, it's easy. It's easy to take apart. It's not that hard. People think it's hard. It's not. It is not hard. The most of it is just if you take it apart, you're afraid if you can put it back together like you took it apart. And quite honestly, there's so many instructions, even United States manuals you can download off the internet now. Army manuals from like World War II that show you how to take the whole gun apart and put it back together if you need to.
Gotcha.
So,
and if anybody wants a Chinese SKS, Classic has these right now. They're saying they're CNR eligible, which means they're going to be a 60s vintage era rifle because they can't. CNR's got to be 50 years old, so these got to be at least from the 60s.
Some of them go back to the 50s too. I was reading the reviews on them. A couple people dated them to the mid 50s.
Well, the only problem is you see that one right there. You see that SKS specifically, that type. The spiked bayonets were the bayonets they put on all the Norinco ones that were for commercial export.
No. There were military rifles that had the spike bayonet. I have one of them. The spike bayonet replaced the blade in the 60s because it was cheaper for them to manufacture for their militias and to get into the hands of the North Vietnamese during the Vietnam War.
See, in one of the reviews, the guy said his came with an Albanian-sourced bayonet on his. Now, I mean, maybe that's where those rifles came from. Maybe that's where they brought them over from when they were done with them, I think, they're $400 if you don't mind taking the time to get the Cosmoline out of them. From what I've read in the reviews, and these are all from verified buyers, they seem to be in pretty good condition, but they have been shot quite a bit, but the bores are clean.
Yeah.
Chrome line barrels too, so, I would say just get one because they're not going to go down in price. They will not go. Have you guys seen any Milsurp guns go down in price in the last 5 years? I mean, seriously, have you seen anything? I mean, Mosin's kind of went down a little bit once Classic brought a couple crates out, but Mosin's have gone from basically 125 to about 350 to 375 in the last 5 or 7 years.
And Mel, I see out there on the gun channel side. I'm around. It's just we're trying to do hit or miss here. Continue, Travis.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, if you guys are considering any kind of a Milsurp gun, just buy it. You're not going to lose your money on it, and you're going to make money on it. I'm sure Makarovs will be $400 in a couple of years. Look at the Mosin Nagant pistols. They were $99 up until about 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, all these Milsurp guns are just going through the roof.
And the price that Classics won for those, they're wanting $399.99, which isn't today. Isn't a bad price for an SKS, because a month ago those probably would have been going for $450.
You're gonna have to expect to do some stock refinishing and maybe some rebluing on them if you really want to bring it back to looking, whatever presentation esque. But you just want to clean it up and just make it a shooter and enjoy it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, SKS is doing nothing but going up in price. The fact that they got those for under $400 is ridiculous.
Yep. All right, so we got some latecomers here tonight. We've got everyone's favorite tactical bird. We've got Gizzard Gary. What's going on, Gary?
Just living the dream, man. Thanks for the invite.
All right, no problem. And then we've got everyone's favorite road pirate himself. We've got Sarge, C4 Descents.
Road pirate?
Hello, gentlemen.
That's what Obnoxious One calls him.
It's one of the
because of the mustache or what? Road pirate?
No, because of the ticketing.
Oh, I thought the pirates would be the bad guys. He's not the bad guy.
Depending on if he gives you a ticket or not.
Good point.
And then we've got everyone's favorite reloading chat talker. We got Armament and Axis.
Hey, buddy, what's up?
We're not talking about reloading. We're talking about 1911s and SMGs.
Hey, have you guys have any experience with reloading 350 Magnum?
Shut up. Don't get me started. Just got back to work like full time, balls to the wall. And I'm tired. Senior Link, cool.
How's your son doing?
He's doing all right. He went back to the doctor and he's got to go back. When did he tell me today? I'd have to remember. He's got to go back, get another CAT scan, make sure things are. He's still having some problems, but yeah. Anyway, I was going to say earlier, you guys talking about the SKSs. I can remember in the early 90s, you could get them for $59, $60, $70, and there were some choice guns in there.
Yeah. Well, it's just like with the Mosins too. A lot of the Mosins that you could get, within the last 10 years are in really good condition. Now you're starting to kind of get the kind of what people are kind of pulling out of the ocean or.
Right. I was going to say the same thing.
They're really looking rough. What people have been saying about the conditions of them and stuff. And yeah.
I wish I would have jumped on some of those Mosins back when they were cheap. Now.
Oh God. Yeah.
You're to me, it was like, whatever, but now, and I've had the chance to shoot a couple and I was like, oh wow, I wish I would have,
They're
what I mean?
fun. They're really fun.
Yeah. And now I'm looking and you're going to pay how much for junk instead of how much?
A good one probably $375.
Right. When we were getting a good one for $100. Kick yourself. Right.
Yeah. It used to be, and the SKS used to be the farmer's rifle where you could go pick one up, 40 for 50 or $75.
Yeah, I can remember getting them. We got them in at the store. I think, of course, it was wholesale, but we were getting them for like $59 and selling them for like $80.
Yeah, because when they banned the ability to get AKs because of the assault weapons ban, the only thing you could really get at that point in time was like an SKS because 10 rounds, it's fixed magazine. Yes, it has bayonets. So in some states that wasn't cool, so they took the bayonet off of it. But overall, with accuracy, the SKS has always been a little bit more accurate than an AK.
I want to tell you guys real quick though, if you get a chance to pick up a Sporter, the thumbnail stock version, the the neutered model, buy one. That's the one that takes the AK-47 mags. I've got one. They're starting to go for between $600 and $800 right now online.
You said thumbnail
thumbnail. So thumb hole stock that takes the 8K
I know what
mags.
you meant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the sporter. Because a lot of guys bubbled them out and they didn't keep them original. So if you can find one, buy one.
Yeah, and then you got the SKS. What is it? The S model, which also takes AK mags, but it has a Monte Carlo stock on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And hey, go ahead. Sorry, I'm go ahead.
There was also the M model, and I think the D's also took
Yeah,
AK
but
mags.
those were both thumbhole stocks. The S was the only one that had the Monte Carlo
Right.
stock.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm just remembering all. I remember the when you were talking about Travis. My buddy just went through two of them because he buys and sells, but I forgot about the Monte Carlo one. You're right. I was like, oh wow, forgot all about that one.
Yeah.
There's a guy over on Etsy or Etsy who actually he makes stocks for SKSs and Mosins. He hand carves them. They're about $120. Now I'm not saying you can legally do it, but he does make them for the sporter model, and it does turn it into the what have you guys called it, the Monte Carlo style or the paratrooper style. He makes stocks that turn them into that basically, but it's designed to take the AK mags, which is pretty sweet.
He hand makes them for 125. That's cheap.
$125, 110, 120. I'll find his link and I'll post it on the internal chat. I'm thinking about buying one from him. Yeah.
Out of the SKSs that I've handled, the S model is the most comfortable with that Monte Carlo stock on it.
Yeah, I remember handling them. I totally forgot about them until you mentioned it. I was like, oh yeah, I remember those. They were so comfortable. And Night Strike, you said in the 80s you couldn't get AKs, or in the 90s.
After 94, it was hard to get AKs at that point.
Okay, that's when I got my Mac 90 with the thumbhole stock, no bayonet lug, 5-round magazines, and one of the most accurate AKs I've ever seen. And
I'm not saying they weren't obtainable, but that wasn't a true AK. That was a Mac 90.
Right. But guess what? When the ban went away,
take that shit off, put regular shit on.
Oh, there you go.
That is the point, though.
Right, right. Yeah, you couldn't. It was all if it had a bayonet lug or a thing that went up in the back. And
you also remember those. Even though at that time you could get Saiga rifles that worked in 7.62 by 39 and convert them to AKs. You've seen the Saiga AK conversions, right?
Oh yeah, the Saiga rifles. All it was they put a
traditional stock at the end instead, and they moved they moved the trigger guard up.
Well, they just made the trigger longer.
Yeah,
and it just had a longer and it worked. It was an AK. It
really was.
It was an AK, but they moved the trigger. They moved the whole fire control group back and put a Monte Carlo style stock.
No, they did not move.
They did. The SKS sorter.
They moved the position of where the trigger guard was.
The sporter model. That if you look at it, the trigger group is actually moved back. If you ban them, you have to drill out a new hole for the trigger control group and move it forward, and then you got to weld that all closed.
Yeah,
because the ones that I remember seeing, I don't know, maybe it was a later model. The pinholes are all in the same spot, except the way that the trigger worked, it was just a really long lever, if you know what I mean. It just, the trigger, instead of being directly under the sear and the hammer, it just had like a long arm that brought it back. And when you pulled it, it did the same thing, but it was at a levering mechanism. But yeah, the ones that I remember people converting, once all the stupid laws were done, they were in the original pinhole spots. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I never had to do it. I know that.
Yeah, the guy I was talking about before, if you guys go to Lucky Shot Wood Stocks, he's based out of Minnesota. It takes about 5 to 6 weeks to get your stock when you order it, but man, he makes some really cool stocks. He makes them for Mosins, he makes them for Segas, he makes them for SKS, Paratrooper Sportsters, and D models. And yeah, they start at $110. It depends what kind of wood you want to go with.
All right, we're going to back up for a second because I'm just getting through the YouTube comments now because everything's been going slow tonight. I don't know why. It just has. But I did make a reply to Artist and Tony out there because he was saying when we were talking about 1911s for you, Travis, he said just go on Gunbroker and get a used Colt Model 70. And here's what I'm going to tell you, okay? Most of the ATI 1911s and some of the Rock Islands are all Model 70. Unless it's
the
specifically
770 series. Yeah, 70 series guns.
Unless it specifically states it's like it's an 80 series, then they're all Model 70 series. So there's there's no firing pin block or any of that crap. It's just a standard 1911 that works like the ones in World War II worked. Okay.
Just to compare, here's a converted Sega. Here's the original when they were coming in that configuration. So you get the trigger. You can clearly see the trigger group was moved backwards, and it's got the Monte Carlo style stock on it.
Well, when I said they moved the trigger guard up, I meant towards the end of the receiver.
Yeah, I know what you were saying.
But to convert it back, you have to move the trigger guard in the opposite direction.
Yep. You had to move the trigger guard. You had to move the trigger and trigger guard all the way up here. As you can see, it's supposed to be at the back of the mag release, and clearly that is not at the back of the mag release.
No, it is not. But that at one point, if I hadn't bought that AK that I bought from Foose, I had a line on a really nice Saiga that I was going to convert.
Yeah, converting this Saiga, it's a lot of work involved.
And here's the thing about a Saiga, though. The Saiga, even at this point in time, is still the closest you're going to get to a Russian-made AK in the United States.
Yeah, there's the Vepr, too.
Yes, but you could have done the same thing with the Veprs as well.
Well, no, the Vepr, all you got to do is open the mag well, and there's places that do that when they sell them. To get where it takes standard AK mags if you have the 7.62 by 39 or the 5.45 by 39. Molat was importing both of those into the United States. And then you get places like Legion that were just taking them and they were opening up the magwell and they would take regular AK mags.
Kingpin, is that how much it's going to cost you to get out of Maryland?
Sadly, both are on the ban list.
Well, yeah, no, that's just the price of the gun. The taxes and fees and regulations for Maryland, that's another cool 4 or 5 more million.
Okay. I had no idea that 1911s were so costly these days. Travis, you may want to hold off on getting a 1911.
You want me to hold off on getting a 1911? Why would I do that?
No, I'm kidding.
What?
I'm looking at the YouTube chat, and Kingpin is saying, I have a $4.5 million 1911 if anyone is looking for a new gun.
Or is it a 4.5-inch barrel on my 1911? Is that what he meant to say? Is that
no?
I think actually what I think Dave is trying to say is he's fibbing and saying he has one of those medium 1911s because that's what they cost. Because we were looking at those too on Sunday night. Those are $4.5 million.
Hey, I caught that meteor. I caught that meteor with my bare hands and forged it from one stone.
There you go.
Was it one of the Infinity Stones though?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
of course.
I still want that $40,000 Korth revolver though.
Yeah, I that one is nice too.
Yeah,
you know what we're talking about. That
I know the one. We've had conversations about it before. I know the one you're talking about.
The one with the hand engraved with the dragon that wraps all the way around the grips and everything.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I know that one.
Yeah. That thing is beautiful.
It is, but again. All right, so we actually do have some topics we're going to talk about tonight. I mean, I know we've gotten a little off topic talking about guns, but, that's what Hit or Miss is. We talk about guns that we like, guns we want to buy, guns we're looking at. We also talk about gun news. We talk about politics. We talk about regular news that's happened that has us pissed off. We talk about a little bit of everything. So, so what was our first topic tonight? You guys help me out here. What was we were supposed to talk about Pennsylvania? Did you guys hear what's happening with Pennsylvania, or and did anyone go to the rally?
I watched it.
I went to the rally.
I wanted to go.
David was there.
David,
did you actually get in? You didn't actually get in though, did you?
No, 'cause we kind of stood around out front and yapping, and then when we went around to check our guns, by the time we got our guns checked in, they said that they were at capacity.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I ended up streaming RL's feed on Midnight's channel.
All right. Well, I didn't get a chance to watch all that, so can someone give me like an after action report?
What kind of after action do you want? Like, what kind of information do you want? I can tell you everything that I know.
Well, what happened? Did anything? Did you guys feel like you got your voice heard, or do you feel like it went on deaf ears?
They had a number of their representatives talking at the rally, and one of the things that came out was the fact that they have just proposed in both their the state house and the state senate constitutional carry in the state of Pennsylvania. They are filing, the state is filing lawsuit against Pittsburgh for what they've done, and one of the members of their legislation is calling for impeachment of Pittsburgh's mayor over signing that law.
I did see that. He filed that today. So I saw that. So that is good news. Were there any important or any noteworthy speakers that stood out?
Yeah, Maj was there. He gave a really impassioned speech.
Really, Maj was there.
Yeah, I got to meet him outside afterward. We were standing all out in a circle while people were coming out, and he walked out and stopped right beside where we were to take some pictures. And I leaned over to him. I said, "When you get a chance, I'd like to shake your hand." And he took a couple more pictures and then walked over to me and was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And I got to talk to him for a couple minutes. He gave me a T-shirt, so I got to go back and listen to his speech. It was definitely pretty good, but I'm biased. I like Maj quite a bit, so he's usually my favorite speaker when I hear him.
Good. Were there any good legislator speeches?
Yeah, it was your typical what you'll get from a pro-gun legislator. But yeah, that was good stuff.
Plus, they only had.
There was this one. I can't remember his name, but he was wearing like a gray suit and kind of bald head. But he gave a really good. He's the one that gave the speech about how they were. He's the one that filed for the impeachment, and he's the one that brought up the fact that they're pushing for constitutional carry in the state as well.
That's good.
They only had like 5 minutes each to do their speech too.
Well, some of them went over. Trust me, some of them went over 5 minutes. Maj went over 5. His speech was longer than 5 minutes. Tim Schmidt,
as long as they get their point across, I don't mind.
Yeah, Tim Schmidt from USCCA, he was there. He went over 5 minutes.
Tim Schmidt was there, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
One of the cool things that I noticed
sorry, go ahead, David.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say Eric Pratt was there too, and he went over 5 minutes. And he's and GOA is joining in with the calls from the legislator, whose name I can't remember, to also in the lawsuit and in the push to have the mayor of Pittsburgh impeached.
Yeah. And that's certainly a at least I'm glad that somebody is at least paying attention to the laws that are already on the books, because Democrats, like, what's the name? What's that Democrat mayor's name? That's in Pennsylvania. Yeah, was it Peduto or something like that?
Bill Peduto, and he's an asshole. I know the guy. He's an asshole.
Do you know him personally?
Yes.
Wow. There's a story there.
Rich White, tell us more.
We would like to know more. We're pressing the button.
That's all I'm gonna say. I don't like the guy.
Okay.
I knew a few of the politicians in Pittsburgh, having grown up there, being in the junior ROTC program, met a few of them. I do not like Bill Peduto at all. He was working as an assistant to somebody, and he's arrogant. He is an asshole.
I think arrogant is a quality you have to be a politician, isn't it?
No.
I'm just saying to make it in the political arena.
No, I've met a lot of politicians. This guy was arrogant to the point you want to punch him in the mouth.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, I've met Rick Santorum. You couldn't meet a nicer guy than Rick Santorum to stand and talk to. When I was in when I was I'm trying to remember 9th or 10th grade, when I was in junior RTC, we had our awards banquet at the American Legion that was in his district, his congressional district. He made a point in making sure he talked to every one of the Boy Scouts and junior RTC cadets that was receiving an award that night. He made sure he came and talked to everybody.
So when you were old enough, did you vote for him?
I didn't live in his district.
Oh, okay. I just got, a lot of that is, hey, vote for me.
Yeah, this was during his first term in the U.S. House. And this was right after he had gotten elected to the House of Representatives.
Right. So,
one of the cool things that I noticed about the rally, at least the part that I was able to take in, which was a lot of people coming up the main steps, there was tons of different types of people. Whatever skin color you want, whatever hair color, height, weight, nationality. I mean, there was a whole lot of people there. There was probably this one group of people was probably 10 people deep, and they were all Asian people. So I thought maybe they were, because they weren't like all dressed out pro 2A or anything. And then at the end of the event, when people were starting to, leave, they stood on the front steps, and one guy took his shirt off, and it sure enough was pro 2A all over it. And then I looked around, and a bunch of the people had pro 2A shirts. So I know that this one guy came up to Black Cat and a couple, I think Midnight and a couple other guys, and were asking for pictures of Coda Boy, and talking about how important it is that his family was there visiting from Mexico, and they wanted to come to the rally because of how Mexico treats firearms, and they were super interested in asking questions and telling people, hey, we appreciate what you're doing. It's not like that in our country. So there's a whole lot of diversity there, if that's the way you want to put it.
Well, no. And here's the thing. David, you're looking at it the wrong way. The only people that were there, David, were true Americans.
Well, I mean, I had to classify it because of the way people talk, but I think the same way.
No, you don't. You don't classify.
You have to, dude.
If you classify, you divide us. And right now, we need to be, one nation under God.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the one to preach to about that, because I don't believe in the term community and all that other kind of stuff. I'm totally on board with you, man. The separation is the biggest problem. When we all break off into our little groups, that's a problem. But when you're talking about people who don't know any better, when they think it's just a whole bunch of redneck white guys standing out there, and then you see it's not a whole bunch of redneck white guys standing out there, that's why you got to say it that way. I understand with this crowd, I don't have to say that this way, but with other people, you got to say, hey, look, there's black people here, there's Asian people here, there's women here,
Right.
But I totally agree with you. Separating into those different classes is not good. I don't believe in doing that at all.
It doesn't help us.
David, were you able to see when RL first walked out of the State House after they actually had the rally inside? He was walking out before he went back and picked up his gun and everything. When he was walking, trying to find you guys, I think.
Yeah, we were standing right
out. One guy came up to him, Black Cat Outdoors. Oh my God, you're Black Cat Outdoors. Can I get a picture and your autograph?
Was that the short guy with the gray ponytail?
It might have been. It was funny.
Yeah, because he was with another YouTuber who is NEPA Tactical. I can't remember his full name right now, but there's a whole bunch of people. Would you say nice right?
You said NEPA, NEPA Tactical or something like that?
Yeah, it's something like that. Let me see.
It stands for Northeastern Pennsylvania Tactical.
Right.
And then there's quite a bit of, I'll at least say, gun channels affiliated people, because they're maybe not members of gun channels, but they hang out in these chats and they make gun videos and stuff like that. So
Right.
it was quite a big turnout for just those people, you know. And then they say that the rotunda holds 800 people is the capacity, and like I said, they cut us off. They wouldn't let us go in.
Well, that
And there was
place
still a couple, at least 100 people outside, maybe
Well-
150.
I did see some pictures, and they were pretty packed. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
RL panned from inside around, and every terrace, the entire floor, there it was standing room only. There was no, they weren't getting any more people in.
right.
Like I said, I've been
Right.
Oh, that's awesome. I heard like over 800 showed up, maybe.
Oh, there were more than that in the
They're
building.
more.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that building has a capacity for it, where they were at in the rotunda. The building has a capacity by fire marshal of 900 people. At 900 people, they had to stop letting people in.
Awesome. Like
You're coming in and out again, Armament.
hit it with a hammer.
Well, that would break your router. I don't think you want to do that.
Probably not a good idea.
Yeah, not a very good idea. But yeah. So it sounds like they had a productive rally this time.
Yeah.
It seems like more things got addressed and were made aware of than the last couple times.
Well, this rally they usually do have a big turnout for because this is a yearly event. This one, this isn't one of those spontaneous. Let's go have a rally. This is scheduled every year.
Okay.
And if you want a political side note to go look up something about another rotten Pennsylvania representative, take your time and look up Brian Sims.
Everyone knows him.
Yeah, he's a foul individual.
You said this was the Harrisburg. They did it last year, correct?
Yeah, they do. This is a year. This is
Yeah. Okay.
a yearly
Okay.
event.
So this happens in May every year.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to get a gun YouTuber calendar and write all this stuff down.
Yeah, Squidload came from Michigan. Johnny Sprague, Scotsman came. Like I say, Coda Boy was there. And there was a bunch of people that traveled a lot further than I did.
Swagger 70 was there. He lives in the Philadelphia area. Someone that Scotsman came with. Scotsman drove all the way from Cleveland across Pennsylvania, then halfway back across Pennsylvania again to get to the rally.
Man, I
Good Lord.
should have went.
So he drove past the rally to pick somebody up and bring them to the rally. Is that what you're saying?
No, he drove all the way across the state of Pennsylvania. First, he had to drive south from Cleveland, then across Pennsylvania to get to the Philadelphia area. Stayed overnight at that guy's house. Then the two of them went to the rally, and then back to that guy's house. Then Scotsman had to drive all the way back across Pennsylvania and then up to Cleveland again. He did a lot of driving the last couple of days.
I did a lot of driving in the past couple of days. I drove for about 22 hours in the past 2 days in a dump truck. Anyway, I'm thinking that he went there to see friends and went, hey, I can make it back to the, you know what I mean? So
no, he went intentionally to go to the rally. He stayed with him because he lived in Pennsylvania and he was able to have, he had room where Scotsman could stay with him.
Right. But it was a friend, correct?
Yeah, somebody you knew.
Yeah.
From YouTube and whatnot.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, what else? I don't think we have time for the other topics.
Well, I was going to say, what else? You hear about the shooting in Colorado?
I'm not going to talk about that tonight.
Yeah, something. There's not enough information, and from what I understand, nobody's dead. Wounded, injured, nobody dead, as of what I've heard.
Yeah,
and nobody knows who these people were. Were they other kids? Was it they're using 22s. We don't know.
Now, this also raises a point where, it's in Colorado. What the fuck, guys?
Yeah.
You guys should be all over this. But as in previous episodes of Hit or Miss, we've had E Honda on here, and he's jumped into Hit or Miss complaining about how pissed off he was. They had to go pick up his kids because there was a threat at the school.
Well, and then he said he showed up and there was hardly no security at all. That was in the school.
He said there was no security at all.
There's nothing. Yeah. He's like, well, what's the point of even calling me to get my kid if you're not going to be here to protect my kid?
I mean, if you want to make pot legal in your state, that's great. It's wonderful. But if that's the only thing you want to give to Americans for freedom, then you're kind of fucked up. Because you should, if you're really concerned about children, instead of pining to take away every single legal-abiding American's guns, you should be putting armed officers at the fucking front door, at a fucking front desk, so that they don't get shot. So your children don't die. But apparently, every single motherfucker in the Colorado state government says, oh no, we don't need any guns or any police officer or any security in our schools because our children will be safe. Well, they ain't safe now, are they?
Well, the gun-free zone, that's when the criminals see it and go, oh, we can't go in there. Come on. Really?
They did a news update, guy. There was one student that got killed and there were 7 injured.
Oh, sad.
That just got posted in the last 30 minutes. So
sad.
Yeah,
I know.
I
heard a report of one got shot in the back, and he didn't even realize it, and he got rushed off. But yeah, I don't know. It's sad. Yeah, and like I said, there's no reports. What did they use? Gun, blah blah blah. I'm sure if it was an AR-15, it would be plastered right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. To play devil's advocate, in the mid-2000s, there was a guy walked into the school that had an armed guard at the door with a metal detector, walked in with his gun already drawn, shot the cop before he could draw his weapon, and walked into the school. And then, so just having one guard at a door, it's not necessarily going to do anything. You gotta have more than that.
That's a rarity. They don't want any resistance.
Yeah.
Sarge, you're in your cruiser. I just heard your radio. He's right though. They don't want any.
They don't want any resistance.
Yeah,
I mean, they may have shot one
Yeah.
guard at one point, but there's no real tangible way to figure this out. But they don't hit hard targets. So we need to make all the schools hard targets.
Hard target.
And they don't need to be
with more than
one guard.
They need
one.
I'll just turn this thing off. I don't know.
Yeah. One. What was that, Sarge?
It's just the factor that
No, I was just saying something. Somebody's talking over me. So
Oh,
never
no,
mind.
sorry.
Go on.
Go ahead.
I muted because it was getting garbled.
Yeah, it's just that if you're gonna say this is a so free zone, or you want to protect the children, either actually do something that actually protects children, or shut the fuck up.
It's like a restraining order. It's only a piece of paper. Just like that little sign is only a little sign. If they really want to hurt you, they're going to hurt you.
A law that says no, it says you can't go in there with a gun, is just a piece of paper. And a criminal, as proof,
As
what they
defined.
are, as defined,
Yep.
are not going to go and follow the law. Hell, they've had all their entire life to follow the law, and they didn't do any of that. That's why they're a fucking criminal.
Yep. Laws only abide to law-abiding citizens.
Yeah, yes, I'm going to curse because I said this episode was the normal hit or miss episode where, we let it go. And this kind of shit pisses me off where, now because, one kid died, they're going to say, oh, we need to ban all firearms. We need to get rid of all firearms because they're the problem. The problem is you're letting people walk in there and shoot other people without any resistance whatsoever. Okay, it's a bad idea in the first place. And if you're like, well, I don't want my children to be going to a school that looks like a prison. Well, hey, guess what? Your child. I'll tell you something that I saw as a kid. Even when I was in school, it looked like a prison then. It still looks like a prison now. Get over it.
Night Strike. I was just going to make this comment. This is so funny. Our newest high school here and our sheriff's department jail, if you look at the architecture, they're so close. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. But my point is this. You don't have to make a school like a prison. All you have to do is make it known this school is guarded by more than one person. You're probably not going to survive.
I mean, you don't have to use the police, okay? There are plenty of armed security companies that are willing to do the job for a fee, okay? And you know what? If that makes you more comfortable, do it that way. I know in some states they are actually using security companies that are armed security guards to protect their children. It's not a bad idea. I mean, if you can't have the police there to do it, then you got armed security guards. That's good. At least they're doing in those states and those areas. They're doing something. But writing up more laws, trying to take your constitutional rights away, isn't going to stop some madman with a gun.
Yeah, that's pretty simple.
It's only going to hinder anyone that could do some good to prevent someone like that.
I was going to say, my best friend, I've known him since the 5th grade. He's a teacher. He's also an NRA certified instructor, blah, 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 blah. And he owns more guns than I do. And he's told me that there are many teachers that he works with that said, yes, we would arm ourselves. And think about that. Teachers arm themselves. That's not a soft target anymore.
Yeah, after the last shooting, we were talking about it. We had parent-teacher conferences the next day after, what was it? Not Sandy Hook, down in Florida. That was literally the next day, and we had 5 or 6 teachers that said they'd be more than happy to go to the school board and approach them about seeing what the process would entail for us to be able to carry in the classroom, because we all have our concealed carry permits. And you can't argue budgets, because it wouldn't cost anything for me to conceal carry in the classroom. It wouldn't cost anybody anything.
That's the point I was going to say.
Zero.
Travis.
I mean, that's less than the cost of an SRO. You wouldn't have to worry about me going through any. I mean, if they wanted to push additional training, whatever, schools will make their own rules. But, but our state doesn't allow it. So until the state changes the law that allows us to let districts vote on it to see if they want to allow it or not, I don't think it's ever going to happen in Nebraska. Because again, it's handed down by the state until they get that overturned. And they've debated it several times, and it never gets pushed through. So,
and at that point, if any kids die, not only does the school district get sued, but so does the state government for allowing the school district.
Well, and the sad part is the teacher association, which I belong to, and it's the only reason why I do it is because of for legal protection. Yeah, they don't want it. They vehemently oppose any kind of firearms in schools whatsoever unless it's by an SRO.
And they'll change their tune once they get sued for it.
Well, yeah, I'm just they won't. We don't think it needs to be there. Well, I like how they try to make that, and that doesn't help either, because then parents say, well, what do the teacher association say? Well, they don't want it. What does the state say? Well, they don't want it. Well, then we don't want it either. And then it doesn't ever happen. When really it should just be an individual decision from the teacher, and the district will, choose to let the teacher decide if they want to wear it or conceal or not. So, anywho.
Well, that's like the UAW saying, vote Democrat. They're for us. Yeah. Okay.
Nice. I'm going to pop on over to what do we got
all
here?
right. So give us your outro.
Yeah, just guys, make sure you check out Caliber Corner. It's going to be on 6 to 8 East Coast time over on Night Strike's channel this Thursday. After that, I'll be back hosting it on my channel unless something else comes up, like it is for this week. But otherwise, I appreciate the invite, man. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for showing up.
All right, appreciate it, buddy. You guys all have a good night. All right.
All right.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Armament Nexus, give us your outro.
Not a lot. Been working too much. I'm gonna enjoy the paycheck, but yeah, jumping back into it.
When are we gonna see some videos of you and your son out on the range again?
Actually, we got the one that he's got all the pieces. He haven't put it back together, but yeah, after he fell and hit his head, yeah, life's been pretty messed up. But yeah, got that one. I'm trying to think what else Derek was working on. Oh, we have my M1 carbine video coming out. He should be getting it done. I don't know, but got some other stuff from NRAM. But hopefully, we'll get her done. We're life's busy, man. So
right. That it? Okay. Luke and Jones, if you can see the monitor right now, I've got the email right here. Send to this email. It does work. I do have it set up. So if you need the email address, it's right here, right now. I'll send you the link. So there we go there. Again, AWAG, give us your outro.
Sorry. Oh my, I'm very tired. Yeah, check out my channel for various stuffs. Hopefully I can have some more videos up soon. I recently just filled out paperwork for a pistol permit, so I should be having pistol videos sometime in the near future. So stay tuned for that, I suppose. Other than that, subscribe to everybody else. Definitely support Night Strike. Buy from the links in his banner of the GunTube.org website. Definitely buy stuff from the Brownells link or the Gun Mag Warehouse link. So with you buying stuff, that helps him. That helps Night Strike out with GunTube. So go do that.
Thank you. All right, Gizzard.
Oh, thanks for the invite. Check out my website, gizzardgary.com. Also, my YouTube channel. We are 10 subs away from 500 subs, so have a giveaway here pretty soon. Foul Territory on Friday nights, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Early bird chat Sunday mornings, 10 Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, and give them the bird.
All right. Give him the bird. Surfer bird. Rich.
Yeah, Sunday nights over on the media channel, we have This Week Unloaded. In last week's episode, no, we did a double show because we also filled in for Midnight Range TM. Even when I had to run my wife over to the emergency room, we still kept the show going. So, that's twice this week.
That's dedication.
Yeah,
that is dedication.
Two straight nights I had to bill Midnight, or 2 straight days I had to bill Midnight Range out. How about that?
Did you have to bail him out of jail too?
No, but I did twice I had to fill in for his show. Once on his channel. But yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Crazy. All right. Again, guys. Like Travis said, we're gonna be on. We're not gonna be off the cuff like we were tonight. We're gonna be on the cuff, which means we're not gonna curse as much, or hardly at all, on Thursday. But we are gonna. I am filling in for Travis. I'm doing Caliber Corner Thursday night, 6 Eastern, and we're gonna go and talk about our favorite 308 battle rifles. So we're gonna go through that and see how far that takes us on Thursday. And if you can do me a favor, go over to GunTube.org, check it out, upload a video or two, create an account if you don't have one. Use the banners at the top of GunTube.org to help me keep the lights on. And other than that, check out gunchannels.com and check out my website, nightstrike.com. After that, that's it. So that's all she wrote. We'll see you on Thursday. And we'll also probably see you all on Friday for the Friday Night Strike. at 6 Eastern as well. So, guys, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for listening. This was Hit or Miss.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
Peace.
Give him the bird.
Shut up! Be infringed!